Hey guys, Full Throttle here, and this is a 2021 Aprilia Tuono V4 factory. Today we're going to be installing the SC Project SC1-R racing slip-on exhaust system. This is a slip-on kit, which means we're not going to be going all the way to the engine, but rather we're going to start removing stuff from here on forward and replacing it with our new link pipe here and the silencer here. So let's take a look at what is actually included with this kit. Once again, this is the SC Project SC1-R Racing Slip-On Carbon kit. This is titanium, and you have the link pipe, the actual silencer. There's a baffle built in, which is removable. It comes with the passenger peg delete bracket, and the way to mount that is with these two spacers and these two longer screws. You also have the shorter screw, a nut, and a spacer that's supposed to go in here, and it'll mount this piece onto here so it's secure on the bike. The springs will mount onto these two places here, and on the opposite side here and here on the link pipe. A thing to note is that this kit is not actually officially supported for the 2021 model. There are some key differences on the new bike that make it not compatible, but we're going to find a way to make it work. The first thing is that the link pipe has this extra mounting place that is actually supposed to be somewhere around here. So on the previous model of the Tuono and the RSV4, this rear set for the driver right side actually has an extension piece where there's a mounting location. We don't have that, so I can either purchase the previous generation rear set and install it here so that I can get that, or I'm just going to leave it not populated, because we're going to have an attachment point here and an attachment point here. That should be secure enough. The other difference is that the offset for this to mount is supposed to be a little bit different. So based on what I can see, this little spacer that I've ordered should do the trick. If not, we'll see what else we can do. So before we start the disassembly process, let's make sure that the engine and the exhaust and everything else on the motorcycle is completely cold so you don't burn yourself. Once you have done that, we will loosen this bolt, which will take a 13mm socket. Once it's loose, you can slide it forward so this can slip out towards the back when you're ready. After that, loosen this screw, which is a 6mm Allen, which also has a 13mm nut at the back. So once you remove the nut, this screw should be able to fall out. Before you do that, make sure you have some sort of support so this doesn't drop to the ground. There's one more thing we have to remove, which are these exhaust servo cables, which we haven't removed yet, right? So be careful when you take this off. Don't let it go too far. Maybe put it on your lap or on some little cloth so it doesn't scratch, and get these out of there. So I have the exhaust removed from that pipe there, and it's currently hanging by these cables. And I'm going to need a 10mm wrench to undo these two jam nuts here and here, so I can get this cable out of the channel. There you have it. It's definitely a little pain in the ass. Basically, those two nuts that we loosen let you get this out of this metal bracket here, and then you can take off these little guys out of here and here, which will free the exhaust from the motorcycle. Once the exhaust is out of the way, we are now left with a problem of what to do with these cables. Well, the correct solution is to go inside here somewhere, and there's supposed to be a servo. You're supposed to remove the servo and delete this properly. I'm not going to do it properly. I'm just going to take these and zip tie it somewhere here securely so they don't damage anything else, and they don't get in the way, they don't get caught on anything. And eventually, when I do get some time later on to go inside the bike, and probably need a servo buddy or something like that, right, to go in the unit, I'll fix it properly then. But for now, I'm just gonna zip tie it appropriately here. Now we're gonna have to remove this right side rear passenger peg by removing those two screws there. They will take a 6mm Allen key. Damn, these are some really long bolts that were holding that in there. It appears it had probably some red Loctite. Anyways, now we're going to take our new exhaust hanger bracket with the screw, the longer two screws, and the spacer. Get some blue Loctite, and let's get them installed. It should also take a 6mm Allen key. So this is what it looks like after it's installed. I haven't tightened it. It's still loose. We want that adjustability so we can get this hole aligned and whatever we need to do to that. The spacer goes on the top, then the bracket, and then the screw. Now I have the silencer and the link pipe. I'm gonna assemble it together, shove this piece, this side in, the side that has this tab in here, and align these two little hooks so that we can put the spring in. We probably want to go all the way in, all the way till here, and then once this is one unit, it might be easier for us to manipulate everything here so that it fits correctly. Guys, let me tell you, it's really pain in the ass to get these springs installed. I wasn't able to push this all the way, but it should go in with time with these springs probably. You almost really need this spring puller tool. Good thing I've had experience in the past and I had this already, so I was able to use it to get this installed. If not, you're just going to be busting your fingers, so I would say just go and get this for like $5. Wow, man, I have been able to successfully manhandle this thing onto the motorcycle here. So I have replaced this guy. So this right here is the one that came with the bike. I took it off and put the one that came with this kit on. Make sure that the bolt hex head side is towards you, so it's easy for you to loosen and tighten. You should be able to push this pipe all the way to here like the stock one was. You can see the springs are in good shape, and it's getting closer too. Hopefully it gets closer more than that. So as of now, nothing else is tight other than the springs. I haven't tightened these two screws, and I haven't tightened this guy either. Actually, I was able to use the stock one that came with the bike. The spacing is gonna end up being perfect. This little nice accent piece and the stock screw and the 13mm nut should work just fine. So I won't need the thing that they provided, and I won't need my little 12mm spacer that I purchased. Because this thing is doing the same job basically. So now I'm going to tighten everything up, and yeah. Actually, now that I've tightened this, I feel like it's actually going to be worthwhile for me to use this little bit shorter of a spacer, because the screw really isn't poking out from the back of the nut. It is just a little bit, but I think we need a little bit more for the lock nut here to actually function. So I'm going to use a smaller spacer, that way we can squeeze this closer together. It won't hurt the exhaust hanger or anything, so don't worry about it. So hey, check this out. Basically, I'm not sure if I said earlier or not, the new one takes a 10mm socket, but yeah, the exhaust is installed. I see some people actually went and cut this out, but I'm not going to do that. It's fine. This the screw now protrudes outside the lock nut, and it's much more secure. It's pretty solid. It's actually, yeah, it's pretty solid. Everything looks good. So now, time to turn it on. Alright, so as you can see, it's getting kind of dark now, and I don't want to really film in the dark. It's going to be shitty video quality. But yeah, before we let this heat up too much, I know I just turned it on for like, a little bit, but before we let it heat up more, we should probably clean the exhaust with some kind of isopropyl alcohol or something like that, so your fingerprints, your oily fingerprints, don't permanently get engraved into the exhaust. But yeah, man, that's gonna cover it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos in the future.